Leslie.
Hey, Megan.
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Just pulling up your questions and then we can get started.
Perfect.
Are you able to pull up your video? Here. Sometimes I have to make you a co-host in order to let you.
Oh, no, here. How's that?
Oh, there you are. Perfect.
There
Okay.
I are.
Hold on. One moment. Oh, let me find the file for some reason. Hold on here. Let me pull it up. I was giving myself a couple extra minutes because I thought you were going to be late. So,
And I thought I always like if I'm running a little late, I just want to let that person know. But
I so appreciate it. That totally helps me out.
yeah, but I zoomed through it and I was on time.
Cool. Cool. I'm trying to think about the best way I can look at this while being on. Usually I'm on my phone and it will not let me pull this up on my phone. Well, let's see if I edit. No, I want to download it. Okay, you out. Hey, you out. Go find Terry. Go. Sorry, Leslie. Hold on a second. Because my dog had to bark his head off.
Didn't make him happy.
Well, my boyfriend's home, so he's like all excited. Why does that pop up?
Is there anything I can do on my side?
No, I'm just trying to pull up the questions that you sent me, and normally I can pull up with my phone, but it's not letting me. So I just want to have a couple things. I just want to have them ready so I don't lose place. So I should be able to pull it up real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna send this back. No, let's just leave it. Okay. All right. Okay. First off, I want to have your title to put in, and then we'll go. Okay. Go back to Zoom. Perfect. So if I go here, okay. So just about to go live on Facebook.
Now I'm seeing on my side people raising their hands, chatting. Do you know?
People raising their hands and chatting.
Yeah. What do I have?
I don't know.
I'm still on with you today. Oh, Megan, it's Lisa Reed. Am I still on with you today at 12?
Oh, no. You know what? I think I might have double booked you guys. Oops. Hold on. So she's already, she's in there. That's why. Hold on. Where did you see the?
Oh, it was here.
Hold on. There she is. I found her.
Okay.
So, sorry. I will you. Can we do? Let me go back to the Facebook Live. And So, hi everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am here with Leslie Dixon, and she's the founder and executive director of the Birds and the Bees. So, Leslie, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Leslie Dixon. I'm a registered nurse. Most of my years was as a school nurse, and I felt that it was important to create classes for parents and children to take together to prepare them for puberty and adolescence. And the reason for that was, as a school nurse, I would go into the classrooms and I would speak to the kids about puberty, and they were curious and really responsive, sent them home to talk to their parents. And what I found, no one was talking. And I just know it's an important thing to do. So 18 years ago, I started my own business, and it's called the Birds and Bees Connection. And we start at 4th grade and we go through high school. And these classes are parents and children taking them together.
I love it. And you and I talked, and we wanted to really share this kind of information. And I know it's a little different than some of the topics I've had lately, but you had said, I thought this was very cute, that like this never takes a vacation. So it doesn't matter what's going on around us, and schools are closed, and activities are closed, but like kids are still dealing with what they're dealing with, and parents can't put it on the shelf. COVID or no COVID, like these are things that we need to just talk about. And I know you want to talk a little bit about more about what you do, and then share some tips with parents.
Sure. Well, what I did, because as you're saying, most of my classes are in person, and this has shifted everything. And the standing joke is that no, puberty does not go on vacation during a pandemic. And parents are still dealing with children dealing with puberty. All the issues, all the hormones, all the physical changes, along with everything else that's going on. And it's really important for me to help parents to be able to deal with it. So obviously during this time, I've been running Zoom classes for parents and children, really to help them during this time. Realize this is perfectly normal. Puberty is perfectly normal, and to help them know that everybody's going through it, and obviously to give them information, tools, support, so the parents can continue to have the conversations. One of the things that I find that's so important is that most of the parents that come to me say, when I was my child's age, I got nothing. And so how do you expect them really to feel comfortable talking about puberty, the changes, physical changes, emotional changes, all the things that are going on? And then if any of your child says to them, where do babies come from? Then, parents are just like, what do I do? So that's why I decided to do the Zoom classes during this period of time. And I realize, you've had this wonderful focus, and I just think I can help and support parents, because this is a challenging time, and they're still going to go through all these changes, and they need to know about it.
And I think that's awesome. So, you were talking about your Zoom classes. So tell us a little bit about where people could find you, and what they could be involved in, how these Zoom classes work.
So the Zoom classes are, you just go on our website, which is Birds, BIRDS, N as in Nancy, Bees, BEES, connection.com, and you'll get more information about it. So the Zoom classes are, in fact, the class that I taught on Sunday. So we have a class for 4th graders. It's called Puberty, Mothers and Daughters. And that class, I was so excited because I had moms and daughters all over the United States who took the class because they needed the information. They were completely dumbfounded. So we cover what puberty is. It's very interactive. You'd think on Zoom, how do you get interactive? But I have found ways to get both the mommies and the daughters talking, and we talk about the physical changes and the emotional changes and hormones. We all say hormones. And we talk about genes. So turn to your parents and talk about your genes. And then we talk about hygiene, because that's a big one. You know, they're at home, so you think they don't get dirty and sweaty and smelly, but they do. So I showed, how to wash and deodorants. And then at the end, so we go through all of hygiene and even nutrition, because especially during this time, we need to still eat healthy, and they need to eat healthy because they're growing so much. And if they're eating too much junk food, it's going to affect their hormones, which is going to affect their emotions as we're going through this process. So we really cover so much ground. For the girls, obviously, we touch on periods, because I've got to tell you, those girls are petrified of what's going to happen to them. One of the questions I always ask the girls at the beginning is, how many girls know a little bit about puberty? Most of them raise their hand, thumbs up. And then I ask them, how many are excited about puberty? Thumbs down. And so we talk about why it is they're so frightened about it. And really, by the end, there's just this sigh of relief that we've covered all these topics, and it's been fun and non-invasive. But we really do talk about periods, what causes them, and then what to do about it. What do you need to have? You need to have a cute little charming purse that you put in your backpack, and what goes into it. And most of all, that you can always talk to your mommy or someone if you're feeling you've got questions or concerns. And the mommies really walk away from those classes prepared to have ongoing future conversations.
Well, I think that's great. So, I know you talk a lot with moms, and then you also deal with boys as well.
I do talk to fathers and sons. So it's really interesting. The mommies come in and they're all, ready for these classes, and the little girls are really scared. And then in my father-son classes, the dads come in really resistant. My wife made me take this class. But the boys are going, yeah, I want to know all about this. And by the end of the time, for all of them, there's this sense of, okay, now I know this information. So in my boys' class, we cover basically the same thing, and especially we talk about hygiene, because sometimes those boys don't understand that concept, that you really do need to take a shower with soap and wash your hair and use deodorant. Just because, your parents say that, it's true. And they're laughing. And there's a lot of turning to parents and having conversations. So we get that, real bond created. So turn to your parents and talk about what was puberty like for them. Was it easy? Was it challenging? For boys, we talk a lot about how to deal with your emotions. We don't always talk about that for boys, that yes, you're going to have emotional changes. One of the things I have them do is pronounce, everybody says out loud the male hormone, which is testosterone. And I'll have them go, testosterone. Whoa. And that's the humor that I really try to, involve in the whole class. And this conversation about, you're all going through it. It's perfectly normal. Big piece, everybody does it at their own time. And this is important, especially for boys, because I think boys look at other boys, and if they're starting to grow or starting to mature, they don't know where they fit in. So I really help boys and girls to understand it's your body, and it's going to go through it at your own time. And more than that, there's no one like you. You're so unique. There's no one in the world like you. And I really want them to appreciate how special and unique they are, and to appreciate their bodies, because their bodies are amazing. And the joke I make is you can't call up Amazon and order a new body. This is it, and you could live to 100. So take care of it now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, um, I know that this is challenging. I don't have my own kids, but I remember, when my mom talked to me and how challenging I think it was for her, and she did a really good job, but it's not something that's really easy to talk to your kids about, especially, if your parents didn't talk to you about it and you're just kind of a little lost as to where to go. So, what would be the other reasons you think that parents would be resistant in having this talk with their kids?
Well, I think there's several reasons. And I think one of the reasons is they didn't have it. So they don't have the language, the comfort. Even as an adult, they're struggling with some of these issues. I think there's the fear that their child's going to come to them with a question and they're not going to know how to answer it, or they do answer it and then they know they've made a big mess out of it. And how do they get out of it? And one of the things I tell parents is, that may happen. They maybe do it while you're driving, or when you least expect it, they're going to ask you a question. And I always say to parents, it's okay. You don't have to answer it in the immediate. You can say, well, let's go find it out together. That right now, I want to be able to give you the best answer. I need some help. So let's go find it out together, or I will get back to you, and I will, with your answer, because I know it's important to you. I think the other fear is that if we educate them, we say certain things, they're going to go out especially when we're talking about sexuality and sex, that if we tell them these things, if we give them the right information, that they're going to go out and do something with it. And all the research says that that's not true, is that the more we empower them, the more parents and children have these ongoing conversations. And that's what I'm setting the stage for, that the statistics don't show that kids will not engage in risky behavior if they have that connection and feel that they have someone they can go to with any of their concerns. So this conversation is so important. And as I said, and I think I wrote it down, is start small. You don't have to have any you don't have to have the talk. I'm going to sit you down and have the talk now, and that's not where we want to go to, but have small things, talk about hygiene, talk about, that there's changes, and open the door for further conversations. And parents, there are videos now, there are books. I have these wonderful classes. So there's lots of resource for parents to be able to go and get this information and be prepared. There's a statistic that I've used for years, and that is, it's a Harris poll. 90% of parents really do want to talk to their children. Unfortunately, only 4% do.
Wow.
And these conversations, it isn't just about puberty, Meghan. It's about their self-esteem. It's about their body image. It's about really important things. They're being able to function. And if they don't have this information, if they're scared about it, or they've heard anything from their peers, or unfortunately, we see for boys, and this is a big concern, going to pornography. So we want it at home. I want to empower parents to feel comfortable talking about this conversation and doing it ongoing. So that's some of the tips and importance about it.
Cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to share that we didn't go over that maybe help parents and kids?
Well, I think the most important thing is to talk with them. I think of all the things is don't be put off by their eyes rolling like, oh, I know all this. And, oh, mom, dad, we're going to have this conversation. And again, that they think they know everything. And they come into my classes oftentimes and they say that. And by the time they walk out, they go, no, I guess I didn't know everything and I got wrong information. So have small conversations, but get over the fear of it. That's the most important thing that I can say. And here's another thing. Be willing to listen to your child. One of the things that I hear from teenagers that they won't go to their parents is because they're afraid of being judged, lectured to, or a parent's going to assume that they're doing something. And I think the most important thing a parent can do is listen, ask questions, be curious, but be willing to listen to some of the concerns that they're having. Be open. Here's another one. This is an important one. Be honest. Oftentimes parents think, well, we'll just tell a little lie, and we won't get caught, but you will get caught. And if you get caught, they'll never come to you. Yeah. And my goal as an educator is really this connection between parent and child, and that they continue to talk with each other. So when you have a teenager, they are willing to come to you with any questions, any concerns that they might have. And we want to start early, so if you have third grader, fourth grader, it's important to start early. And I just thought of something that's important. Use proper terminology. It's so important. The big one for me is boobs. And I tell everybody, boob means stupid or dull person. That, the anatomy of breasts are really important because little girls are really struggling with that. So we have a lot of fun with this, but use proper terminology. It is important. Empower. And one other thing is teach your children boundaries and being able to feel empowered to speak up. And this time is important to be able to establish that with young people, that boundaries are important. Something doesn't feel comfortable, being able to speak up, consent, all these topics that are out there right now are important for parents to have conversations with their children about. And that's pretty easy to talk about.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of really great information. And it sounds like you have a lot to share in your classes. So tell us again, for people maybe that joined a little bit later, where people could find you and where they could find information about the classes so that they could get involved, because it sounds like this would be very, very beneficial to everybody.
We are doing Zoom classes because, obviously most of my classes have been in person. You can find me on my website is www.birds, BIRDS, N as in Nancy, bees, BEES, connection.com, or you can contact me at 949-394-1556, and I am very, very available. I love to talk to parents. I love to help them with any questions and concerns, and I love to see you in my classes.
Cool. And so you're located in Orange County, correct?
I'm in Orange County. I do go into when I do my regular classes, we go to San Diego, Los Angeles. We have classes in other parts of the state, but that's where I go to. And now I'm open to do Zoom classes for people all over the United States. So I'm really excited about that as well. But as soon as things open up, I'll be back to my in-person classes, which I have to say I do love to teach.
Absolutely. I think we're all looking forward to getting back into that in-person time for sure. I know I am. Well, thank you, Leslie, so very much, because I know this has been so very helpful, and again, something that's a little overlooked. People don't always talk about this, and I know I have a lot of friends and family members that have and a niece that is getting into this age, and I think it's very helpful for people to be able to use some of the information that you just shared, and if they need further information and want to, you know, have some more expert guidance through this, that they could reach out to you. So thank you so much. And I'll include your website on the Facebook chat. So I look forward to seeing you later. And thank you for spending some time with me this morning, or this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Megan. Really appreciate it.
All
Have a
right.
great
Take
day.
care, Leslie. Bye.
Bye.